Hello, hello. Hello, hello. My name is Vinny, and I'm classic Bulgaria. No, my name is Reggie, or Nick, and today we're playing Zero UHC Season 2, Episode 1. Yeah, I'm pretty hyped for this. I've been hyped for it, because Zero, Season 1 was one of my favorite rounds I've ever played. So we're all disguised as Zero Vinny. The 0-0 is moved, and I think that's just classic FFA, move 0-0 anonymous. Pretty much like before, it's pretty much all vanilla. Now the last time I did FFA commentary, I did an entire book review on Darth Bane Path of Destruction. And I had planned for my next book review, or my next FFA, to be a book review on Darth Bane Rule of 2. However, I don't think I'm going to get lucky again to have exactly enough episodes, because, I mean, that was really enough time to review the whole Path of Destruction and then have a meetup episode. So, I'm going to be doing my Star Wars 20 questions. It's the 20 questions I saw the Finalysis group do, and I wanted to do them. I'm not sure I got all 20. I only wrote down 16, and I couldn't find a text version of it, so I wrote down a few extra ones. But, yeah, I'm gonna do that, for this video, just talking about, if you don't know, I really love Star Wars. I watch the movies, I love the books, I collect the Legos, not so much like various action figures, but I definitely love the Legos, and the books, the audio books. I made a fucking hoe, god damn it, I just hoed some land. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing that, so we might as well just get started. So question number 1 is, would I be a Jedi or a Sith? Now, it's a bit of a complicated question because it's kind of just like, oh, well, you have to pick between a Jedi or a Sith, which I personally don't like the idea of doing. I wouldn't be someone who just follows the Jedi Order blindly, and I wouldn't be someone who just follows the Sith Order blindly. I would definitely not have the stomach to be any sort of dark side acolyte anyway. So if I had to pick, it would be a Jedi. However, I'm going to sort of let myself go a little more open-ended with this question and talk about how I would be a gray Jedi. I would follow the general gist of the light side philosophy and Jedi teachings. I would not follow the Order. I would very much be someone who works alone, maybe with a small group of good pals. And I would just, you know, because I'm not a fan of the Jedi Order at almost any point in its history. Maybe like earlier on during like I'm trying to think, Nomi Sunrider, like that age, which I admit I know probably the least about when it comes to how much I know about the Old Republic timeline. But I'm not a big fan of the Jedi Order. Like, I like the characters as dueling, you know, because I'm big on the dueling. But in general, I'm not a big fan of the Jedi Order as an order when it's the prequels, you know, Phantom Menace, Revenge of the Sith, those movies and books. I think they're heavily flawed, and I think the whole Jedi Order system is flawed for the most part. I think the Jedi are inherently flawed as well as the Sith. It's just my opinion. So I wouldn't follow any order, but if I had to, like gun in my head, I would go the Jedi. That's that one. Question number 2 is my favorite Jedi. I'm mixing these up. So my favorite Jedi. That's a good question. I haven't thought about some of these yet. I only wrote them down. I quite like Obi-Wan Kenobi, but everyone likes Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I guess there's also in Fatal Alliance there's Shigar Kanji, who I'm also quite a fan of. He's a pretty interesting character, in that he's a Padawan who follows the Jedi Order faithfully, blindly almost, and then through his dealings with in the Fatal Alliance that the book is talking about, he pairs up with what's his name, Darth Kratos, and generally figures out, like, oh man, yeah, I'm not a fan of the Jedi. And I like that. I feel like that's kind of what I would be. Since, you know, it would make sense that for the most part he was totally for the Jedi because he was raised by them. And basically raised to be like, oh yeah, these guys are gods and whatnot. But he eventually realized that there's a problem, and I mean, as far as I know, because I only know about him from the book, Fatal Alliance, but his character looked like it was going in the direction of, instead of working with the Jedi Order, being more of like a Qui-Gon Jinn almost, just doing what he knows he needs to do wherever he's needed, wherever he knows he's needed to be, and just going there. So I quite liked his character. He's also a Kifar, which I love, because they're pretty much humans with yellow tattoos, from the outside anyway. Question number 3 is my favorite worlds. Now, they eliminated this question to 3 worlds that they like, so I'll be doing the same. The first, because I'm Ambria from the Darth Bane trilogy. Ambria is the only world that they visit in all 3 books. In the first book, Bane goes to visit Ambria and force Khalib to heal him. In the second book, he's gravely injured in a battle with the Jedi in the Battle of Tython. So Zana deceives him into healing Bane. And then, of course, Khalib had a daughter and figured out that Bane was alive. So in Dynasty of Evil, the third book, she goes and orders a kidnapping, which is, of course, how one of the most interesting characters to me comes about, the Huntress, or Darth Cognis. So I love Ambria because of the story it has. You know, before the time of Darth Bane, it was sought after by a Sith sorceress, basically, and she tried to unleash some powerful dark spells. It went bad, destroyed her, basically wrecked the whole planet, and then eventually a Jedi came along and contained all the evil darkness in Lake Nath. That's the gist of what happened. And of course Bane goes there and sets up his camp right on Lake Nath's shores. And it basically becomes a sort of dark side nexus, where of course Zana can use her tendrils of night, something like dark side tendrils, whatever they were officially called, but the dark side tendrils. And I just love Ambria because it's the first point where Bane's really injured and vulnerable, so he goes to Ambria, and it ends on Ambria. That's the first world. I went off a little bit there. The second world, I think, is, well, so most people are going to say Coruscant by default. However, I really hate Coruscant. Cities stress me the fuck out, so I would really hate it on a giant city world like Coruscant. I would also hate it on a world like Tatooine or Hoth, where it's, you know, the climate is insane. So, other worlds that I love besides Ambria. I mean, Ambria is my favorite just because of the lore. If I was gonna live on a world, I'd have to admit I probably wouldn't want to live on Ambria. So let's think for a moment. Probably Alderaan before it gets destroyed. I know Alderaan's a very beautiful world, and they sort of align with me politically. They're very, they seem to be at least very liberal, so I like them. There's, you know, Bail Organa, who's a pretty awesome character. Let's think what else. What will be my third world that I'd really love to... So I have what I love because of the lore. I have what world I'd live on. So I guess a sort of vacation-ish world would be in order here. Oop, the sun is going down. That's a little spooky. I can default it by saying Coruscant, because a lot of important shit happens on Coruscant. Actually, I'm going to say Munilist, because there's a good deal of time spent on Munilist by Darth Plagueis in the novel Darth Plagueis, and I quite liked the Darth Plagueis novel, so I'll stick with 4 apples for now. So Munilist was pretty awesome. I'd love to see what that would look like in the eyes of a movie maker. So Munilist, that's gonna be my answer. Oops, skeleton. Don't wanna. Well. That would have just happened to me. Oh, he dropped a bow, though. Worth it. Question number 4 is my favorite Sith. And, that's a hard question, for sure. It's actually not a hard question. I don't know why I said it was. It's Darth Zana. I love Darth Zana. She's just an awesome character. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to take a step back for a minute and, remind you that, my favorite Jedi is Ahsoka Tano. I don't know why I completely blanked on that, but my favorite Jedi is, without a doubt, Ahsoka Tano. I completely blanked on that. I don't know why I did. So I love Ahsoka. She's an awesome character as well. Yeah, so I played pretty dumb right here. Steal some water. Oh, shit. Oh, he didn't actually break my torch. Okay. So my favorite Sith is Darth Zana from the Darth Bane trilogy. I just love her character. I love that she's a Sith sorceress. I find that to be pretty badass. And I just find her character in general to be pretty freaking awesome. So, Darth Zana for me. Yes, that's my choice. Hello, chicken. Yeah, I've just always loved her character. So, question number 5 is my type of lightsaber, my lightsaber color, and my lightsaber form. So I'd probably have a single hilt. Ooh. Spooky. Yeah, oh shit! Baby zombie in golden armor! Oh man. We're off to a bad start, boys. Oh man, okay. Calm down. My lightsaber hilt would be a single hilt, sort of in the style of Plo Koon's. The picture of me as a Jedi, which was drawn by the awesome Danny the Cool 123, that has the hilt I would use, and I would have a green saber, unlike who the hilt is based off of, sort of a Plo Koon style hilt. But more similarly to who the hilt is based off of, my form would be Form 5, Deuxième Saut specifically, because I prefer the dueling aspect versus the more defensive laser or blaster deflection. So I'd have a green hilt, a single hilt, green blade, and I'd be Form 5 Deuxième Saut. Let me get question number 6 before I go in here. My favorite non-force sensitive character. Well, 15 minutes enabled. Find out next time. Bye.